Hi guys. If you followed me for a little while, you know I have a teenage daughter at home, and she's nearly 16 years old, and she has started hanging out with her friends after school and going to Dunkin' Donuts and places like that and having those coffee drinks. And so now at home she thinks, oh gee, I'd really like to have some coffee. Well, you know, it took me a little bit to get off that coffee habit. And if you're brand new or you haven't seen the videos, let me just explain a little bit, okay? Regular coffee has a high amount of caffeine in it. And that caffeine stays in your system for 17 hours. 17 hours. And for years, I just couldn't sleep right. I would take for hours to fall asleep, and then I'd wake during the night, and it would take me a long time to get back to sleep. And with all of my back pain and everything that I was having from my inflammation and arthritis and all of that, I would toss and turn all night. And I just had really disruptive sleep, and I always felt groggy. And part of it probably was medications that I was taking at the time. And as you know, my plant-based diet has alleviated me of all those medications. But I was still having that coffee. And once I realized that, I started having improved sleep just from the diet. But when I realized that the coffee was staying in my system for 17 hours, I thought, you know, I really need to lower that caffeine. And so I switched to tea, which has just a little bit of caffeine. So I didn't have any withdrawals from caffeine. I didn't have the headaches and all of that. And it was a really easy transition for me. So with a teenage daughter, I certainly don't want her developing those issues that I had from that caffeine. And so I would buy her hot cocoa, and then when I became plant-based, it became cacao, which is a lot healthier and actually good for you. It truly is. There's a lot of antioxidants and nutrients in the raw cacao. So what I did, my mother had given us this drink mix, and it's a mocha coffee drink mix. And my daughter had it and she really liked it, and I started looking at the label to see what was in there. Well, the main ingredient, of course, was sugar. And then it had corn syrup and all of vegetable oil and all that, which was in a creamer, a powdered creamer. And then it had cocoa and like an instant coffee. And that's really all that was there. And so once this was gone, I said, why can't I fix that for her? Why can't I make that up for her? And she'll think I just kept buying this for her, right? She won't know the difference. So what I did is I got some decaf coffee. Okay, and you may ask, well, Tina, why didn't you just switch to decaf? Because although decaf doesn't have that caffeine, so it didn't keep me awake at night and it didn't affect my blood pressure, decaf can actually raise your cholesterol. So I was able to get off my blood pressure and my cholesterol medication, so I did not want to switch to something that might raise that cholesterol level again. Okay, so that's something I didn't want, and something I certainly don't want for my teenage daughter. But because the way I mix this, there isn't a lot of it in there, I'll put it that way. So I got the decaf, I have my regular cacao, and I have my raw cane sugar, and I mix the three together in this container that I already had. And use whatever container you have, but my daughter was used to this container on the counter. So I put that all in there and I shook it up real good. And now she just makes this and adds a little bit of our soy milk to it in place of that powdered non-dairy creamer. So there's no oil and no corn syrup and all of that stuff that I didn't want in there. And because it's half cacao and half decaf, that's what I was saying, we got the really good stuff with a little bit of the bad. So the two together isn't going to give her a whole lot of bad stuff. And it makes her feel all grown up because she's having a mocha. And I don't have to worry so much about her having such bad things in her system and developing those bad habits. So I've shown her how I mix it up. Not that that will help, because of course once she's grown and gone, that will be out of her head. She'll forget. But I'm hoping that if I just keep planting these seeds, that these things will stick with her. But as a mom, I can feel a whole lot better about something like this than I can of just allowing my teenager to develop a caffeine habit with the coffee, right? So just wanted to give you that little bit trick. And you know, if you don't want to go the decaf route, you can just mix up some cacao powder with whatever your chosen sweetener is and some soy or almond milk, and just have a hot cocoa. But I was just, you know, combining those to make a mocha. So you get a little bit of that coffee flavor, and then with the cocoa in there, the cacao, it's really pleasant together. So I enjoy it, and once in a while I'll have a cup myself, because a little bit never hurt, right? So if you like my videos, give me a thumbs up, guys, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do. Tick that little bell that will tell you the notifications so that you'll know when a new video comes out, okay? Have a good day. Bye-bye.